Thanks, Gregor. Afternoon, Neil. What kind of things does your group lean on when you go through, what's basically been your first real rough patch of the season here?
Well, we lean on each other. I think that's what being a team is all about, and of course the team follows the leaders on our squad. So that's what it's going to come down to. And when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. So we'll be looking to lean on our leaders and lean on our teammates surrounding us.
Next to Paul Friesen from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Paul.
Hey Neil, how sour is the mood there at a time like this, and how bad is the timing of this?
Yeah, it's certainly not fun losing games like that and losing a bunch of games in a row. But as far as timing, like I said, it's not fun, but at least this is happening now and not in the playoffs. So we have a little bit of time to correct it, but it's got to start tomorrow night.
We'll go next to Sean Reynolds from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Sean.
Thanks, Gregor. Hey, Neil, in your career, is there something you can look back to, lean on, maybe like a blueprint, or possibly that 5-game losing streak that you guys had last year where you turned things around? Is there something that you can lean on as far as an example of how to turn this around?
There's no specific example from my career that's comes to mind, but I think we've all gone through something like this where you just hit a lull in the season, whether it was youth hockey, junior hockey, college hockey. I'm sure every player has gone through it at some point. So like I said, it's better that it's happening now and not a month from now, but we got to correct it.
We'll go next to Jeff Hamilton from the Winnipeg Free Press. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thanks, Gregor. Hey Neil. Obviously, you've seen a lot of the Edmonton Oilers, like you've seen a lot of the same team this year, all season. Clearly, they've done something to beat you the last 5 games. You watch a lot of tape on these guys. Is there anything you can point to? I don't mean just one or two things necessarily, but that you just can't seem to get, or that seems to be the difference in these games?
Well, their transition game is really good. So I think tomorrow night that'll be a focus for us. We might not be able to stop it completely, but we have to slow it down and we have to limit the chances and then go from there.
We'll go next to Kelly Moore from 680 CJOB. Go ahead, Kelly.
Hey, good afternoon, Neil. Can you explain how important it is for defense to be a 5-player mission and not just the blue liners? Because it seems all too often the finger gets pointed at the 6 that are playing defense for this hockey club, when in effect, I believe it is a team defensive game, is it not?
Certainly a team defensive game, and that's why the saying in hockey is, generally never blame the goalie, because the puck's got to go by 5 guys to get to him, and then then you go from there. But it's certainly a 5-man unit out there.
We'll go next to Carter Brooks from Game On. Go ahead, Carter.
Hey Neil, I'd like to hear your little bit of experience with Jordy Ben so far and how he's kind of fit in with the defense, with the veteran leadership, and I guess where you see his fit.
Yeah, he fits in real well. You can tell right when you walk in the locker room, he's a veteran guy and he's got that veteran presence. And I think he's gelled really good as far as chemistry wise in the locker room. And he brings the same thing on the ice, kind of that veteran leadership.
We'll go back to Paul Friesen from the Sun. Go ahead, Paul.
Another veteran, Paul Stastny, last night, Neil was telling us that maybe the last 10, 15, 20 games, the guys had gotten away with maybe not playing the right way. Paul Maurice kind of reiterated that, and Matthew Perreault today. Is this just hindsight, or were you guys kind of aware of it? And if so, how much did you talk about it?
It was a little bit disguised. I think probably every guy would say this, that Helly bailed us out a lot of the games, kind of covered up for our mistakes, and for playoff hockey, it's unacceptable. We have to step up for him, and even though he's probably the best goalie in the world, like, we have to limit those chances and make sure we can counter off those mistakes.
And final question to Kelly Moore from 680 CJOB. Go ahead, Kelly.
Hey, Neil, I just want to circle back to the 5-man defensive unit component. Can you talk a little bit about how that has to work in all 3 zones in order for this hockey club to be successful and playing the way that it needs to for playoff hockey?
Yeah, I think I talked about it earlier. We're not going to necessarily stop their transition, but we can certainly slow it down, and that starts in the offensive zone. Whether it's something as simple as hanging onto the puck versus throwing it away, or cycling it down low and making sure it gets below the goal line. starts in the offensive zone, and then even in the neutral zone, just making sure the puck gets past the red line, past the blue line, and we keep advancing zones and making sure that they have to come the full length of the ice.